What is unavoidable is stagflation. And we're seeing growth coming down, and we're seeing inflation remaining high.
Too late, a done deal. Stagflation is on its way back. That, according to a former Obama economist.
Stagflation being an unusual condition that the U.S. economy found itself in during the 1970s.
Yes, even President Biden's Treasury Secretary hinting at the same prediction. Janet Yellen saying higher food and energy prices are leading to, quote, stagflationary effects. Let's bring in Larry Kudlow, host of Kudlow on Fox Business. Larry, it's good to spend time with you. Where are we going, and how do we stop, as the New York Post put it in their cover page today, the Biden train wreck?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the Biden train wreck, which he's brought upon himself, continues. Look, John and Jillian, when Sandra was here, I've been talking about stagflation for quite a time. The simple way to think about it is, all it means is inflation is rising faster than economic growth. So, for example, in the first quarter, inflation was up about 8%, and actually GDP fell for special factors. But that's not going to change much. So GDP in the second quarter might be up 2%. The inflation rate's going to still be up about 7 or 8%, or it could be worse. So that's your stagflation. And to get out of that is very difficult. And I'm not sure it's going to end happily, as I've said several times. And I just want to point out, I know you're not a stock market show, but the stock market has been doing very badly. Okay, it's down 25% year to date, more or less. And the economic, stay with me on this, the economic sensitive sectors, like retailers and home builders and chip makers and, consumer discretionary, they've been getting killed. They're down 35% year to date. Yeah. And if you tack on inflation, it's down like 40%. So that's a signal that the stock market is now discounting a future recession, but it's also worried about high inflation and high interest rates. So it's a very tough spot to be in.
So let's pick up on that, on the retailers. So two of America's biggest, Walmart and Target, have now reported these back-to-back quarterly reports that they are, for the first time, losing business. What is driving that problem, Larry?
Losing money, Jillian. I mean, their profits numbers came in way below expectations, and the stocks were absolutely slaughtered. By the by, a lot of this is higher costs. Okay, wholesale prices are rising 11%. So it's getting hard to pass that along to consumers. Consumer prices, bad enough, 8%, but that's a bad sign. The other point is, for 13 straight months, consumer income after inflation has been negative. You're losing ground. If you're an ordinary, typical family, your wages are rising by 5–6%, which is good. The unemployment rate is low, which is great. But the trouble is inflation is taking all of your earnings away. So they can't afford to pay these wholesale prices. And that has a lot to do with the shelves being bare. I'm not talking about baby formula. I'm just talking about in general.
Right.
These retailers, Target, Walmart, they can't make a buck. It's hard for them to make a buck. And then, John, to have more fun with this, you've got a lot of unbrilliant economists like Senator Elizabeth Warren and her crowd, her little bridge group, and they want to impose excess profits and price controls on all. Blame these businesses, not government spending and money printing. Blame the businesses. Well, that can't help either. And by the way, the stock market, which is predominantly capitalist, hates that stuff.
Yeah, Larry, when you take a look at the rise in the price of gasoline, the inflation outpacing wage growth by almost 3 points, if not 3 points, consumers are getting poorer by the day, and this is going to multiply as we trip toward the election. Now, Democrats are trying to come out with some diversionary issues to try to focus their base on, but in the end, economic survival typically wins out when it comes to who you punch the button for.
Yeah, you've got it right. Look at people looking in their wallets and pocketbooks or their 401ks. Don't really care much about what ultra MAGA means. See, they've got negative MAGA. That's the problem. As you say, they are losing ground. There are 401. You know, John, 100 million plus people, 100 million plus people, including the great middle class, the working middle class, they're in 401ks and IRAs, all right? So they're getting hit. And as you said, inflation is outstripping wage gains, a very important part, and they just can't afford to live the way they want to live. Their standard of living has been falling now for over a year. And I think any good econometrician or pollster will tell you when living standards go down repeatedly, that's a death knell for the party in power. Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen. The cavalry's coming. There's no question about that.
People will be asking the question, are you better off now than you were 2 years ago?
That's right. And you look at the right way, wrong way numbers, they're very, very bad. Look, I would say to President Biden and his group, for heaven's sakes, get real, own it, and change. Change some policies. I mean, gasoline hit a new record high today. What did I read in the paper this morning? Every state in the union now has gasoline prices above $4 a gallon. That's pretty darn rare. So look, why would you cancel leases in energy-rich places like Alaska or the Gulf of Mexico, John, where it only costs $30 to break even when you drill? You want to do more of that, not less. Why would you worry about the Endangered Species Act when you've got an energy crisis on your hands and, middle-class working folks are furious? I mean, right, the inflation tax is regressive. That's what Jeff Bezos, Amazon CEO, who's now in war with the White House, which I find remarkable, he's been saying that. They won't even listen to him, for heaven's sakes. His Washington Post is taking whacks at Biden's inflation policy. Biden won't listen to them. I know Biden won't listen to me. I get that. I understand that. But he ought to listen to those people. Bezos is a real person, right? I think.
Yeah. He is. Well, and I think Biden's watching as he's winging his way to South Korea.
I'd love to see it. Yeah,
Larry,
sure.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Thanks, both of you.
See you at 4 on Fox Business.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.